Hello, everyone, and welcome to Post Wrestling's coverage of the G1 Climax 35. It is the day for the girlies. I'm your host, Karen Peterson, and joining me in a very rare semi-annual fashion is my friend Kate from Montreal. Kate, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine, my dear. I'm very happy to be talking to you about something that does not involve like mental health issues or drug use or like people's careers coming off the rail for horrible reasons. Like this is the small mercy. Like the House of Torture is the worst thing we're going to have to deal with today, which is considerably lighter fare than we normally have.
Yes, we actually have like a kind of like a happy fun day, Sunday fun day brunch kind of thing going on today, as opposed to everybody get your crying towels ready. Maybe for the House of Torture matches, you probably get your crying towels ready. But we're here. We're on the final week of the G1. We've made it this far. It's the home stretch. We are going to cover today two nights, nights 14 and 15 of the G1. And today, for all you freeloaders, it is a free episode. So welcome in, pull up a chair, get comfy. However, if you enjoyed today's show and all the other coverage that you've seen on Post, we are going to, gotta do with a little bit of office work before we get started. Sign up for the Post Wrestling Cafe for the price of a cup of coffee. It is the key to an exceptional menu of premium programming, quality content from the entire Post family. Of course, you'll find New Japan reviews with myself and Bruce Lord, Post Pro Res with myself and WH Park. Kate has a rotating roster of friends over at Collision Course.
The magical menagerie of co-hosts. Yes, John Kleinchester will be coming up this week. He's our latest guest. You could hear John Pollock and I hosting last night's show. That's up now. But as you said, for cafe members.
Yeah, it is an exclusive. These are the premium content options. It's the secret menu over at the Post Wrestling Cafe. But yeah, sign up. Join us over for, John and Wei, the boss mans themselves, with all of their wonderful, delicious programming options and lots of brain food available for you today. We are going to go over... I'm so tired already thinking about it. We are going to go over two nights of the G1. Before we get started, we're going to go into spoiler territory. We're going to go over the contest updates. So if you go over to postwrestling.com/G1, you're going to find all our coverage, all the episodes. And we're going to just go over the standings after 2 days of block action. And so the numbers are going to jump a little bit, starting with block A. Evil is going to close out at 12 points. Tied up at 10 will be David Finlay, Yota Tsuji, Bolton Oleg, and Yuya Uemura, followed by Callum Newman, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryohei Oiwa, and Sanada at 8. And the man I thought was going to win one of the men who I thought was going to win the whole thing, Taichi's sitting pretty at 6 points. Over in B. I
don't know how Taichi. Pretty it is.
It's better than less than 6. Over on the B block, our IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Zack Sabre Jr. is king of the block at 12 points. Tied up at 10 is Konosuke Takeshita with Ren Narita somehow. Shota Umino at 8 points. It'll be Drilla Maloney, El Phantasmo, Great Khan, and Shingo Takagi, and Yoshi-Hashi. And unfortunately, as mentioned on multiple episodes, Gabe Kidd has had to drop out of this year's competition due to some unfortunate medical circumstances.
Yes.
The listener standings, there are, oh my gosh, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 13 people with 50 points or more. I'm taking Wei Ting off that list because he's in the C block with the rest of us. The top 3, we got a 3-way. Oh gosh, we've number 1 is James from SoCal with 55 points. Tied up at number 2 is JC Kazama and Ray T. And at 52 points, 2 Rainmakers, Mitro, and Sean from Edinburgh. The full list, as well as the top guys and gals and people around the world, is available on the website as well. Daily Perfect Club, holy smokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 folks. And I'm going to get mad at this one. All right, we got Chris D and Chris Kent. And then the House of Torture fan club, whoever you are, I'm on to you. We're going to need to have a talk. Joe Salinas, Nick W, Ray T, Robbie Mack, S.A. Syra, Scott C, Stefan Explosion, Stephen Solis, and Total Immortal. With the post-family block standings, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Wei Ting is sitting at the top of the block with 50 points. Tied up at second with 47 points, WH, Brad the Archivist, and John Pollock. Browser Brady at 46. We're going to skip Randobot AI because they can kick rocks, but it has 45 points, which is tied up with myself and Kate from Montreal. Hey. Our man Neil Flanagan has 45. Brandon from New Jersey, asterisk, does he work here? Does he not? We don't know still. Him and Eric Marcotte have 42. Davey Portman has 41. Bruce Lord is hanging out at 38 with John Kleinchester rounding out the block at 36 points. Listener prediction stats. Man, everyone was like 79% with 151 people being correct. It was voted for Yota Tsuji over Callum Newman. 61% picked David Finlay over Yuya Uemura. 55% picked Sanada over Ryohei Oiwa. 55% picked Bolton Oleg over Taichi. And 34% picked Hiroshi Tanahashi over Evil. I just get sad seeing, but we'll get into it. So everything, a big super duper shout out to Chris Angler. The way he gets these stats and everything turned around so quickly the morning after the shows are over, I applaud you. You're awesome.
It's crazy. Like I'm consistently astonished when I go to do these shows that they're already there. Like, you did like updating them live. Like
it's sometimes done before I've even started watching the show. So I'm like, how bad did I do today? Oh, not so bad. Well, let me go watch the show now. That being said, let's get into it. So we're going to start today's show. I'm going to allow Kate to do the play-by-play because she's far better at it than I am. I promise one day, gentle listener, I will get to that point, but today is not that day. Not tonight. Friday?
Two nights ago, Friday.
Yeah. Like, what day is it? It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay, so G1 Night 14, August 8th, is at the Yokohama Budokan in Kanagawa with the attendance of 2,448 people. It seems like a good number.
Was there anything that stood out to you from the pre-show matches? We haven't been touching on them at all. I know I've kind of been skipping over them because, again, I feel like sometimes the pre-show matches kind of telegraph which way the block match is going to go, and I would rather just watch the block. Like, kind of. I know there's storytelling involved. But for the most part, I want to watch I don't want to rely too much on the storytelling. I want to see what they tell me in the ring as opposed to the build-up, if that makes sense. Well, and I was saying this last time, which is that the storytelling is just related to what's going to happen the next night. So it's not sort of building stuff long-term. Like anything that is going to happen further into the future is going to be decided in the ring. But one of the reasons I wanted to ask that was because as we're setting up for our first match, Walker Stewart just says, welcome for those who are tuning in just now, which is like, I had to double check. I'm like, is this the start of the block matches or did I just restart the whole thing? Like, no. They are just, we're kicking off the block matches, ELP versus Yoshi-Hashi, and Walker Stewart's like, hey, for everyone who's just tuning in right now, it's like, oh, good. So I'm glad to know that even New Japan employees know that the first part of these shows are strictly for the live crowds, and which is what they are. That's fine. This was just putting it right out there.
Well, I also think the other thing is that, for us here on the US West Coast, East Coast, a 5:30 or 6 a.m. start time is like 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning for us. So as much as I love New Japan, I can't wake up every weekend at 0:30 to watch these matches.
I can't wake up any weekend. I'm more likely to catch them from the other side, like the way that I'm kind of a night owl, so like I'm more likely to just stay up and catch it that way. But not in this case. No, I'm not. Because then if I did that, I would have to stay awake through the entire for like all of these opening round matches, which are really not adding a whole lot to the experience. And what I want to see are the blocks. Now, Walker also mentions right off the top that ELP has never beaten Yoshi-Hashi. And so there is that sort of the tease. Will this be the time? And especially since Yoshi-Hashi has had this dynamic run thus far, a great start to his G1, and there is one guy in the audience who just decided that he's going to try to lead an ELP chant, and good for you. Good for you. Bless your little heart. It
Bless your
sort of
little
caught
heart.
on. Yes, allow me to just be obnoxious and patronizing. There was an attempt.
Oh no, yeah. It was
It did catch on a little. I will say that. Like an ELP remains, I think he is always popular with crowds, but I think maybe not so much as he was. He feels a little bit like he has cooled off from where he was like a couple years ago. And it's unfortunate because he is always very, very entertaining. But we we get started off. Yoshi-Hashi's actually the first one to score a takedown, but ELP kips up. Yoshi-Hashi once again hits him with a back elbow, takes him down again. Both men are trying to do suplexes, but are frustrated in their efforts. So Yoshi-Hashi slides from the ring and he pulls ELP with him. ELP kicks him into the guardrails and hits a crossbody outside the ring. Tosses Yoshi-Hashi into the guardrail again, stomps his head, and goes to the top to go for a moonsault, but Yoshi-Hashi has moved and he comes down hard. You see him just kind of grab at his foot, and I'm gonna go with he's just very good at selling this, because I actually did think that he'd injured his ankle on the way down, because he just like that landing. There were mats on the floor and they absorbed nothing.
No. The mats are probably about like those like high school gym mats. They're probably like like 2 to 3 centimeters thick. They cushion nothing.
Yeah, they're what I call is for insurance purposes protection. Like this is the minimum. Like the insurance company says that we can't just let you fall to your death on cement, so we're just gonna put this little like piece of foam. So that was our due diligence.
That's a protective venue flooring more than anything else.
we don't want the stain from your brain pan.
Yeah, no, not that. Absolutely not.
So Yoshi-Hashi hits some chops and attempts a splash. ELP hits a rebound crossbody and a cabrata to give us the first 2 count of the match. ELP calls for the brainbuster. Why do people call for moves? Because what happens? Yoshi-Hashi knows what's about to happen. He turns it into a suplex. More chops from him, and he drapes ELP over the rope and drop kicks him down for a 2 count. ELP is able to get Yoshi-Hashi up for the burning hammer, but he can't execute it. The Yoshi-Hashi then hits a swinging neck breaker. Both men are down. Yoshi-Hashi's the first to his feet and goes for a fisherman suplex, but ELP is able to get away. Both men just resort to forearms and big chops in the center of the ring. They go corner to corner until ELP hits a tornado DDT and a tope suicida to the outside, the high angle senton and a moonsault back in the ring, but Yoshi-Hashi gets the knees up and traps him for a 2 count. Dragon suplex from Yoshi-Hashi and a lariat that gets a longer 2 count, a kumagoroshi for another 2. Like, this is just near fall after near fall after near fall. Thrust kick to ELP, he at this point looks like he is unconscious, but is able to sort of fight out of a suplex attempt. He'll be once again floored with a forearm. He crawls all disoriented to the ropes. Like, I don't even know if he knew where he was going. He tries for forearms himself, but it is just not having any impact. He's taken down with a big slap to the chest. Yoshi-Hashi, interesting, does not attempt a pin, although ELP clearly just flattened at this point. So, but ELP is able to get up. He hits sudden death, and Yoshi-Hashi then is off his feet. ELP signals for the CR2. Don't signal for your moves, because he gets hit with Yoshi-Hashi turns it into a jackknife pin and another 2 count. There's a super kick. ELP hits the CR2 for 2 himself. He then gets the burning hammer, Thunder Kiss 86 for the win. So he, at 12 minutes, 30 seconds, he continues to act as the block spoiler, having been the first one eliminated. Now that's it for him. He was due to face Gabe Kidd in his final match, which means that this is now his final match in the tournament. And Yoshi-Hashi, after that strong start, with this result hanging on by a thread, at this exact point in the evening. What'd you think?
It's one of those matches where it's like we're at that point in the G1 where you kind of figure out who's going to be eliminated, but also who is going to end up being the spoilers of the entire tournament based on the wins and losses. I didn't expect for the opening match at this point, with everyone being held together with like tape and prayers and like the line up the trainer's room. It was one of those things where it was a fun match. I do like it when people get creative and try to go for flash pins. I need more flash pins to happen. But there was just something missing from this match because, both ELP and Yoshi-Hashi are guys that they know what their role is within the G1 and within the match. I feel like there was the opportunity for them to go a little bit harder, but whether or not their bodies allowed them to was a different story. And, with that jump that ELP did and that landing, it's one of those things where, I have trust issues with the way that people sell injuries, whether they're injured or not. And if they're going to keep wrestling after something, I'm like, are they okay? Are they not okay? And I try not to worry about that too much. But I also wonder if selling it to the point where, they can't go on go as hard as they want to, that's also part of it as well. So
I also know in New Japan, there's a tendency for people to work hurt a little more. So that's why when I see something like that, it's like, oh, yeah, was that real? It may well not be. He did not appear to be favoring it for the rest of the match. So I'm going to go with, no, he was fine. He just happened to sell this very well. Yeah, I'd say like it was an opening match. Yeah. It was not something I'm going, like, if I didn't have my notes here in front of me, I couldn't have told you anything that happened in it. And that's like 2 days ago. So, and again, that's not to say it was bad. If it was really bad, I probably would have remembered it. Like, it's just been sort of unexceptional. Yeah.
It was standard fare for what I expected an opening G1 block match for a series of matches. I wasn't expecting a barn burner, but at the same time, it was good enough, but nothing to particularly write home about.
Exactly.
Now, do you have a review scale? Did you come up with one?
I've just been doing numbers. I did not. I've had a year to come up with one. I have not come up with one. I think it's because, like, I was saying, like, coffee and booze are kind of taken, and
those
beyond that, I'm trying to they're the most obvious things that I could think of. Like, I tried to think of something food related, but even then, like, I don't know, like. I couldn't come up with something. I sort of tried to think of something cat related, but you can't rate cats. And so, yeah,
we'll workshop something. We'll workshop something for next year.
Yes,
we've got a year to work on it.
A year, and I came up with nothing. So I've just been going with numbers. Like I would give this one like a soft 2 out of 5 if I was scoring.
Yeah, it's 2 scoops with a couple of toppings on it for me. Nothing particularly outstanding. Does the job, but
I feel like we're being mean, but we're not being mean. That's just, we're not saying that it was bad.
It's unfortunately just a bit forgettable, and I hate to say that. But it's also, we're at the point where if you've watched every match of the G1, you're also at that G1 burnout phase where it's just
yeah, for sure. Like at this point, kind of
blurs together.
It would take something to dazzle me. And I think that when you're talking about the potential to be dazzled by matches, I'd be shocked if one of those breakthrough moments came from ELP or Yoshi-Hashi. No disrespect to either man. They're not likely to put on a barn burner at this point in this grueling tournament. They are there to fill a role, and they're doing it just fine. Yep. Somewhat different positioning for our next match, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Drilla Maloney. How have you found Maloney's run this far? It's kind of...
I've been pleasantly surprised. Like it was one of those things where I feel like he's felt more at home in the heavyweight division more so than he was when he was a junior. But I think that's just because he looks like the man that ate junior heavyweight Drilla Maloney. Like he's massive, and it's what I like about not just Maloney but the War Dogs in general is that they're doing all of their fighting for the most part by themselves. Like even when the Ghetto comes out to ringside, he's not getting involved. So like
he's strictly like the cheerleader.
Like this is the kind of heels I like in New Japan, the ones that are just like, I'm gonna put up and I'm going to shut you up, but I'm still gonna be.
Are they heels? Are they still heels after this tournament?
Allegedly, I don't. But that's the thing is that they're supposed to be the bad boys. But I'm like, but you guys you're doing amazing, sweetie. I'm so proud of you.
And it doesn't feel with any of them that they are projecting heel energy. They're definitely projecting that sort of bad boy energy, but not they're not healing it up to any extent. I would say, with the exception, like, of like Finlay facing Tanahashi. They're, understood the assignment there. He played the heel, but I haven't found this with either of them. Maloney's funny because, I think he's been doing really well, but I just wonder what you do with him after this, because I sort of I felt like he stood out more, not just because of his size, but in general within the junior division, who kind of need the help right now. Whereas I'm worried he's just going to get lost. He may have benefited in terms of a couple of results from Gabe Kidd leaving. Like, I get the feeling that a couple of wins that Gabe was maybe supposed to get got pushed to him instead, which would make sense. But we shall see. But yeah, it's I think a good first outing for him in the G1 and all. I see there's no way for them to like send him back to the junior division at this point.
He would have to they'd have to cut him off at the knees at this point because he's just so massive.
Yeah, like he always looked like one of these people who was like, a half like a sort of a glass of water away from breaking the weight limit. But yeah, we get started with this one, and it starts off with Zack applying a wrist lock, which Maloney just cannot break, despite some pretty acrobatic attempts at doing so. Then there's a brief point where Maloney gets a wrist lock on of his own, but Zack applies a leg scissors. Maloney eases out of it via a headstand. Zack just keep working away, twisting the arms, and the commentary's mentioning that Maloney has a history of arm injuries. So this shows, as we already knew, Zack's a smart guy. He brings Maloney down to get for repeated one counts, which Maloney finally has to sort of bridge out of. Like, it's taking more and more effort, more and more thinking for him to get out of these holds. Maloney gets a head scissors of his own, but Zack escapes. Maloney gets it on again, and this time Zack gets out of it with the headstand, but Maloney, I love this spot so much. As Zack is raising himself up, he's being all cheeky. He's going to get out of it the same way that Maloney did. Maloney just slams his legs down to do the world's shortest pile driver. I loved this spot. I have to pause just to express how I have not seen someone do that, and it was so clever. It's basically like the whole match to this point has been them kind of mirroring each other. Zack being much better with the holds and everything, but Maloney managing to figure out ways out. And so when Zack very cheekily tries to copy that, Maloney's ready for him, and I thought made him look quite smart. And it was just, like I said, cool little move.
It's one of those like the anything you can do, I can do better. Like it's a bit childish in that sense, but it was the is he not this would make him a heel. It's like it just. I just love those little subtle things because I feel like some of that nuance is often lost in trying to do all the big moves instead.
Yeah, like this was a very good slow build, and this was the first kind of a move popped me, like got me to pay attention. So there's a shoulder block from Maloney and a backslide pin, word I cannot say, backslide. They trade very quick jackknife pins, and there's a big overhead arm drag as Zack slides to the outside. He is clearly a little bit shaken at this point and is trying to regroup. So he comes back, he hits uppercuts, but he's taken out by a hard forearm from Maloney, at which point the crowd kind of seems to be more with Drilla than with Zack, which surprised me a little. Like, they weren't massively with him, but there was a positive reaction that maybe I wasn't expecting given who he was up against. Drilla's hitting uppercuts. Zack goes for a Zack driver. Maloney escapes, but then Zack does the neck twist to stop Maloney's momentum. Grinds an elbow into his neck and twists it again so that Maloney's forced to slip under the ropes to recover. Zack, it kicks to the chest, which are very clearly having a major effect. Maloney finally catches one of his legs and hits a German suplex that gives him a break, but neither man is in very good shape at this point. Zack catches a chop from Maloney. Maloney turns it around, hits him with the other arm, taking him down. A suplex is turned into a chokehold, but Maloney escapes, hits a suplex super kick, jackknife cover from him for a long 2 count, a sit-out pile driver from Maloney, and a gore for another 2, pump kick to the head from Zack, and Zack is encouraging Maloney to give him chops, sort of taunting him, egging him on. He responds himself with more uppercuts. It's a Zack driver for a 2 count, and he traps Drilla's arms, but Maloney's able to power up and almost is able to hit the Drilla killer. He catches a penalty kick instead when Zack is able to get away from him, lifts him up again, hits a power bomb, goes for the gore, but is then trapped by Zack, who has a triangle hold, and Maloney is trying to lift him to get out of this, like hoping to get the power bomb in, and they gave it a good long minute, but the previously injured arm is extended all the way, and he is forced to tap at 14 minutes and 1 second. And right after we were talking about heel versus babyface dynamics, there is the show of respect between the man afterwards, sort of. Yeah, I this is why I say I think the Bullet Club, the War Dogs are baby faces now to me.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've enjoyed about seeing them in this tournament, is that when they have a match against somebody worthy or somebody who gives them a run for their money, they're being more forthcoming with the, giving credit where credit is due, and we will see that later on in night 2. But it's the I like, this was a match I enjoyed. It was 14 minutes. It was really quick. I want more, but I also want to make sure everyone's at 100% when they do it, because I feel like they left a lot on the table, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens in the coming months. But
I noticed as Zack was leaving, he was telling him next time, and so yeah, you're holding out that promise there. I don't know what the next time will be, but for sure I want to see these two go at it again. I thought that they were pretty creative, and I felt like balanced each other really well.
Yes.
Like they were able to not only do their own strong spots, but they were pretty much able to match what the other could do. Like Maloney had some great technical sequences. Zack had the power behind him, so it balanced very well.
What I also liked is that, they're both British wrestlers who started their careers in the UK, but this was their first meeting apparently.
Yeah,
and so
they missed each other.
They're like ships passing in the night the entire time. So I am very excited to see where they go. And yeah, but it's also one of those things. It's like, if the War Dogs are going to be baby faces, can they still be considered War Dogs, or are they going to have to go through a rebrand at some point?
I think they can still be War Dogs. Who doesn't love dogs?
I mean, I don't trust anybody who doesn't like dogs. So
exactly. Come on.
They're my dog. They're my dogs for real, as their theme music says. Sorry, that sounded exceptionally Caucasian. I am what I am, and
I don't even attempt these things. It's like, no, I couldn't possibly.
I'm not cool. It's fine. Yeah. But this was a solid 3.5 scoops. I really enjoyed it. I wanted a little bit more, but yeah.
Yep. I'll go to 3 on this one, on my as yet unnamed scale. There's just like 3 objects out of 5 objects.
We'll figure something out. It's a 3 out of 5.
Or maybe, maybe I should just make up some random number. It's like, it's a 3.75 out of 7. We'll see. I don't know. I am a work in progress, always.
Aren't we all?
Okay. Into each night, a little house of torture must fall. And that's what we got next.
Yep.
I was sort of hopeful that Ren Narita would be somewhat, like, the fact that he was sort of on his own in B block. I don't know. I'm saying this out loud. I thought it would be different. I say some stupid things. My God.
If it's any consolation, I'm right there with you. Like, literally, I had high hopes, and yet I should know better at this point. After 4.5 years of House of Torture, I should know better.
Yeah.
And yet, here we are.
Yeah, like it still sort of boggles my mind. Like, House of Torture are almost as old as AEW. When I look about it,
wow.
AEW, they had their first show in May of 2019. Only hit TV in October 2019.
Yeah, because
House of Torture started
2020.
during the New Japan Cup.
What do you mean we're coming up on the 5th anniversary of House of Torture? Absolutely not. Stop that.
It still seems like this sort of misguided experiment to me, but I have to say at this point,
when does it end?
It's locked in. I guess maybe because other factions are much more long-standing, so you do like compared to like Bullet Club overall, or some of these other groups, like it's fairly new, but we're talking half a decade of of House of Torture.
Wow.
I'm feeling every minute of it. So all of this, like going back to what I was thinking about Ren, I just keep hoping, like, they need a younger sort of king heel. And I was hoping when they moved Narita to House of Torture that they might be tweaking House of Torture and that they would have like him be this villain. But no, I don't know why I thought this. That is not the way.
You and I are literally on the same page. And I don't know if it was on night 1 or night 2, but Walker Stewart touches upon it, how all of these very talented guys are squandering away in House of Torture. And I'm like, does he listen to the show? Does he know how much we moan? What is going on?
And specifically, I know that I had said this before about Ren Narita, because he's sort of part of this crowd, like part of this younger generation with Uemura, with Tsuji, with now Oiwa, who's younger than him. Yeah, Umino, like all of these people. And the problem that I have with putting him in House of Torture is that he's not forced to do a lot of actual wrestling. And that will result in him not being on the level. Like, you can see it with Umino this year, how much stronger he's gotten just from having to work all the time. The opposite holds true. Narita will get weaker the longer he is going without having to wrestle a proper match, and he runs the risk of being the guy who gets lost in the shuffle with all of these new talents.
It's one of the frustrating things about it, because in something like a G1, and it's been in several of his matches, you see flashes here and there of who he was before he joined House of Torture. Yeah. And I'll say the same thing when we get over to Evil. You see a lot of who he used to be, like the wrestler he used to be, and the wrestler that made me a fan of them.
Well, I'm afraid.
Alas,
This one in particular, because we've been through this before. I'm a Shingo Takagi girl. I love him, and it's not even. House of Torture matches have gotten to the point where I don't even give a shit who wins or loses. I don't want to have to watch all of this stuff is happening. I don't want to see like the very first thing. What happens right off the top? Shingo on the way to the ring is attacked by Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So off and running. Ren throws him into the ring post and rolls him into the ring, which means that we can start the match. It's not a match. You cannot have a House of Torture match start until after someone has received a beating. That's just how this works. Ren immediately throws Shingo right back to the outside into the guardrails. He pushes him back into the ring, stomps on his back, and gets a sort of weak-looking forearm for a 1 count. Shingo is now inviting him to hit him, and Ren obliges. Shingo's just feeding off the crowd, takes him down, an elbow drop and a senton from Shingo. He applies body scissors and a crossface, forcing Ren to the ropes. There's a kick. He kicks Ren in the gut until Ren distracts the ref, and Yoshinobu pulls Shingo to the outside to kick him. Ren gouges Shingo's eyes, walks him into the crowd, throws him into some chairs, smashes his knee between chairs, and Marty Asami is sort of standing in the ring, like, as useful to the proceedings as he usually is. And finally, it's sort of like, I'm not sure, I swear I saw him start to do a count. Like, which would be the normal thing that one does, as much as normal applies in these matches. But, like, so Ren goes back towards the ring, but Shingo's still trying to get up. Yoshinobu attacks him with a chair again. And at this point, the count just seems to have stopped. Like, they're just waiting for Shingo to get back there. So, not quite sure what's going on there. But once they're back in the ring, there's sort of a.
I think they're trying to avoid an early count out on a match that was supposed to go nearly 20 minutes. They're like, oh, we got a whole lot more. Yeah, a whole lot more match left to do. We can't end it like this.
Oh, can't we? Can we?
I mean, you and I could, but alas, we are not referees of the IWGP Persuasion.
Apparently not. Ren wraps Shingo's leg around the corner post and is doing just the bare minimum release when he's being told that his 5 count is up. He's working on the damaged knee until Shingo gets to the ropes, and again, he reapplies the hold almost immediately when forced by Marty Asami to break it off. Shingo sort of stops short, preventing Yoshinobu Kanemaru from tripping him up as he's moving between the ropes. Ren gets a chokehold on and goes to run at him, but is held in place by one of the young lions. Thank you so much. That is the one
Bruce
sort of,
Lawrence's
right.
favorite young lion. I believe it's his guy, Taiki Nagai.
Yes, indeed. Who, yeah, I don't know. Like, is he possibly I'm wondering, like, is he going to be involved in some sort of Shingo-centered group? I mean, it seems that like everyone's kind of looking for friends right now.
They gave him a t-shirt. They gave him a t-shirt earlier on in the tournament. He's part of the unaffiliated. But he's still
Exactly.
He's got to do those young lion chores too, though.
Indeed. So at this point, Shingo takes Ren to the outside, slams him into the guardrails, rolls him back in, but is delayed getting back in himself by Yoshinobu. Just pain in the ass, just right it over his face, like that's who he is. These are forearms and a lariat to take Narita down again, a clothesline in the corner, and more forearms, suplex for 2, and Shingo is doing his powering up spot. Again, maybe, don't give your opponent the opportunity because Ren just throws Marty Asami right into him. Yoshinobu hits Shingo with a chair, and Asami counts 2 as he regains consciousness, as a German suplex and a bridging pin from Ren for another 2. He then locks on a knee bar to that injured leg that he's been working on. At this point, at some point, Narita just got his nose broke. Like there is blood flowing out of him, and I have no idea where this came from. Like I went back and looked, and I still cannot pinpoint the spot.
I have no idea.
He got it.
But for me, it reminds me of, if you want to go back to the post-pandemic, like New Japan resurgence in 2021, there was a New Japan strong taping the day after it, and Narita got his nose broken or busted open there too. And it's like, for me, when he gets his nose busted open or whatever, if he starts bleeding, I'm just like, this is where we get crazy. I'm going to beat wrestler Ren Narita. Nope, he just passes out this time.
No. Yeah. So Shingo is finally, he's able finally to get to the ropes. He has a suplex block, but hits his twisting side suplex thing to take Narita down. The superplex by Shingo lands, but he's not able to attempt a pin, so he does his power-up spot again, and this time does not get hit with a ref. Made in Japan is blocked, and Ren escapes to apply another knee bar and a sort of modified figure 4. Shingo does roll to the ropes. Ren climbs up to do the guillotine, but misses. Shingo has gotten out of the way. Shingo hits a pop-up power bomb and goes for the sliding bomber, but Ren kicks his knee, but Shingo recovers, hits the sliding bomber, and another from behind. Gets a chokehold on, appears to get the win, but it's Yoshinobu ringing the bell, and there's chaos on the outside. Low blow, there's a low blow from Ren, but doesn't work, so Shingo responds with one of his own. It's the Made in Japan, but Yoshinobu pulls Marty Asami from the ring before the 3 count. Do refs not notice when they've been pulled out of the ring? Like, how is that not an instant disqualification? Like, if someone grabs my leg and drags me 4 feet, I'm going to notice that. I'm almost certain that under every circumstances, I would be aware that this was happening.
Like, whatever happened to refs throwing people out? Like, why aren't we doing that anymore? Like,
yeah.
After the first time, maybe just...
Well, And at the beginning of this tournament, they seemed to be giving Marty Asami a little fire. Like he was sort of pushing back a bit, and I
Yeah.
was expecting this to end up with him actually like taking some serious action against House of Torture, having been tired
Where's
of
Barb
getting like,
Sasaki? He wouldn't take this shit.
yeah, I go. Apparently, that is Marty Asami's entire purpose in this tournament. Is because you know the second that it's a House of Torture match, you know who's coming out,
Yeah, I
one
know.
way or another. So Yoshinobu sets up the whiskey spot, but Shingo just punches it right out of his mouth. Ren goes to grab the push-up bar, but it's caught by a Daiki Nagai, once again being the hero. Shingo hits Last of the Dragon as Nagai rolls Marty back into the ring to make the 3 count at 17 minutes and 10 goddamn seconds, the longest match of the show thus far. What, like, why did this need to go that long? Explain it to me, Karen. Explain it like I'm 5.
It did not need to be this long with
Mhm.
I feel like they just really wanted Kanemaru to get that paycheck because there was no need for this much involvement. But yes, also I feel like, as you said, if I was dragged out of the ring, maybe I'd be a little more I don't know, situationally aware personally. But
Well,
you're
especially like the 7th or 8th time it happens, you'd think that someone would like.
it's a pattern at this point. Maybe.
Mhm.
But like I was gonna make a joke earlier that with like, you were talking about power up spots or telegraphing moves. I was like, I don't know if anybody on the New Japan roster plays Dungeons and Dragons, but they give a lot of what is called an attack of opportunity. Like they're providing very very risky moves and or very
Come right
stupid
in.
moves where it's just like, oh, let me turn my back to you for a second and do this thing, but you're still up and moving. Anything could happen. So it's just again, I go back to what I always say when it comes to the G1. If you're going to squander their talent the other 11 months of the year, let them be the wrestlers. You don't need to, like, and I know why they do all the House of Torture shenanigans. It's to protect them in losses or to make it let the wrestling do the talking. Because they don't need, no one needs to be protected at this point. There's no need. There's no, they're not protecting Takeshita. They're not protecting Takagi. It doesn't matter.
Well,
Like,
and the
let
point
them,
of a tournament like this is that you don't go in protecting the people you usually protect. Everything is on
correct.
the table, and that's what makes it that's what makes it an
Exciting.
appealing tournament.
Yeah.
Is that it you have this sort of pared down. It's just one guy versus another guy. Like I know when AEW sort of did their own little version of that, they even had the rule everyone's banned from ringside. So like
Oh,
there's
that's
relative,
refreshing.
yeah, like that's, yeah, like so you don't get these interferences. You do get some bits of cheating, like from
Yeah.
Jay White or for like an
Obviously.
and,
Glad some
or
things
from
haven't
Kyle,
changed.
yeah, or from Kyle Fletcher. Like you'll have people who like will hold the trunks, or they'll do something, like you'll get a low
Yeah.
blow spot, but it's the
Not every match.
exception. And it's not every match by a long stretch, and it's not like every person in a faction. Like you'll have you'll have the heels from one faction get a clean win, and you'll have them get a dirty win. And
Yeah.
that's all I'm asking for with House of
Yeah.
Torture, is just have them have some normal matches. Let me be reminded that these guys actually have a role in New Japan that goes
Yeah.
beyond irritating the piss out of me.
And just collecting a paycheck. So, but that's the thing, is that it's just I know that at the end of the day I have no say so in how they live their lives or how they book their shows, but it just seems like this is the one time of year that you want the G1 to be the best and hottest tournament of the summer. I
It
want my
is,
G1
yeah.
to be great. I want it to be gargantuan. I don't want it to be the good enough G1. The good
No,
enough
it,
one.
it is
And
very
that's what
much, it's
that's what it
the
feels like
crown
at times.
jewel. Yeah, it is the crown jewel of professional wrestling, very much so.
Yeah.
Like it is the sort of like, this is supposed to be your big serious tournament that shows how much of a sport wrestling can be, and
Yeah.
how much wrestlers can accomplish. And when you're putting this many people from House of Torture into a tournament, you're you are just undermining this bit by bit.
Yeah.
Now, this ends, there's a brief bit afterwards where Shingo sort of drinks a whiskey, spits it on Ren's dead body, and he does some push-ups on the push-up bar, which is the only enjoyable part of this entire proceeding.
It was the only satisfying moment of the entire 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do love some Shingo. Now, okay. When they're calling out what matches they have coming up next, they mention that Shingo is facing Drilla Maloney, and Walker Stewart pitches it as one-on-one, one last time. Does he know something that I don't? Like, that's a very weird way to phrase that, because that definitely makes it sound like they're never, like, we know that they're never meeting up again.
But that also would hint that one of them's not long for this company. You know what I mean? That means that it's like, that's not like, you know, Tanahashi. If you were to say that for a Tanahashi match, I get it.
Then it makes sense.
He's retiring in January.
Yeah.
As far as we know, Shingo and Drilla are company guys for the foreseeable future. So I don't know why it would be.
Yeah, he said it and it immediately made me nervous because I'm thinking, like, is Shingo going somewhere? Like, he's obviously in his 40s. He's like that.
He has been world champion. If he's not winning the belt back, maybe we don't know something about his contract.
Yeah, like maybe, I don't.
Or being with as outstanding as Drilla has been, I wouldn't be surprised if people are blowing up his phone.
Yeah, like it would not surprise me. I was thinking more that it was Shingo he was talking about, but either way, and again, sometimes we phrase things strangely. I know I do it, but it's just, Walker, you're scaring me here.
Yeah, but when you said that, after the match, Shingo goes and talks to Milano, and the audio is so patchy, I could not hear what they were saying to each other. But like, Shingo doesn't normally go down and have a heart-to-heart with Milano about anything after a match. So I'm just I'm like, what? Yeah, no. What do you?
No, I'm worried.
You know, have you ever seen that Hot Ones meme of Jennifer Lawrence after she eats the wings?
Oh yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? That was me. I was like, what is going on? What do you mean?
I guess I know they're not going to put the belt back on Shingo, even though I might want them to. But it makes me sad to think that, like, they could lose him from the company as well. And
he's been such a pillar of the company, especially when he came in. Like, he was great as a junior, but once he got into the Never, it was just match after match after match, and that was what set him up to become world champion. It's just I don't want to think about a New Japan without Shingo Takagi just yet. I'm not ready. I've already lost Naito and Okada, and I'm losing Tanahashi. I'm not.
We cannot keep taking these L's.
No.
We need to space these out more. I think the problem with Shingo is that any other promotion in Japan is going to have no problem making him the world champion.
Correct.
So
it's
if
just can they
we're starting from,
if they can afford him.
Yeah,
that's the other.
Yeah, that is. So yeah, we're just Shingo. Don't abandon us, please. No.
Walker Stewart. We need to have a talk.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if this was just a weird way of phrasing it, you work on that. You're frightening us.
Don't do that.
So, moving on to our main event of day 14 of the G135, we have Konosuke Takeshita versus Shota Umino. Which, not really surprised that this is taking the top spot. Shota, clearly one of their biggest projects.
Correct.
That
is correct.
I would say with mixed results. I do think that comparing his run this year to last year, you can see the improvements that he has made.
I would agree that he's improved. I am a little bit sour that his reset did not involve a new look for the G1 other than a questionable hairstyle choice by his colorist. I mean, and I'm gonna say this, like, when he came back from excursion, he had the best hair. Bring back your post-excursion hair. It had highlights, it was full, it looked great. And also, don't wear a white hoodie with the hood pulled over and it being pointy in this social climate, please. It sends the wrong optics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wow. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. They don't have any shows coming up in the American South, do they? Because that could just go horribly wrong.
That is my concern. Well, I mean, Forbidden
Although it would facilitate the heel turn that I want them to do with him. Like that's an instant heel turn right there. My God.
Yeah, but that's not the kind of character we want in our New Japan Pro Wrestling.
No. At any rate,
so someone have a talk with him, please.
Yes.
Kindly.
Shota, as I guess this is going to be our phrase for tonight, he's a work in progress.
He is a work in progress.
There's a very sort of cagey start to this one. Umino is able to sort of tie up Takeshita's legs at one point. They trade side headlocks. A shoulder tackle from Takeshita takes Shota down, and he dodges a drop kick and then just hits the Takeshita line pretty early on. A crossface or guys kind of cross neck and neck breakers from Takeshita. He goes for another neck breaker, but Shota escapes and hits a well-placed drop kick to his knee. Charlton's talking about Takeshita's work schedule, and this was... I always like Chris Charlton, but this was just such a smart thing to include, where he was talking about how humiliated he was after the G1 last year. And so part of doing this schedule where he's fighting in AEW and New Japan and in DDT and going all over, what he said was a way of preparing himself to be in the G1 again, like to be able to do that schedule.
I like that.
I really Chris, well played. I thought this was a really good way of framing it. No, I got
House of Torture
very good way of it. Yeah, exactly. Charlton is one that he is really an expert at figuring out ways to sort of turn circumstance into story, and this is I wanted to pick up on this in particular because I thought it was a really smart way of doing it. But back to the action. There is an uppercut and a suplex in the corner from Umino, who is grabbing his head after the effects of the brainbuster that he took. Now, did you notice I didn't mention that there was a brainbuster hit because it wasn't hit tonight. It was hit the night before during this is why we watch the opening act, I guess. But after their tag match was over, Takeshita did hit Umino with one of his big brainbusters, and the story going into this is that Umino is still kind of shaking this off. So Takeshita beats him down, but Umino grabs his knee and tries to apply the STF, but Takeshita makes it to the ropes. Dragon screws from Umino, again working on that knee. And the crowd's sort of Shota friendly at this point, more so than a number of other matches. He continues just to stomp on the knee, but Takeshita rises, and Umino tries to throw him from one corner to the other, but Takeshita just kind of has stumbles, and so Shota goes back to drop kick to the knee. When in doubt, you just go after this guy's knees. And I was saying this last night on Collision Court, like I have a thing with knees. Knee spots make me tremendously uncomfortable.
Yes.
And in the last week, like there were some knee spots on Collision last night. Last week, I had to watch Dustin Rhodes get stabbed in the knee with a screwdriver. I'm really kind of done with the knees. I'm thanks, Kyle Fletcher. So I don't know why. Stuff with the knees, it's like I can feel it. I just, like, my skin's crawling even thinking about it. So this was not a good night for me.
Mine's crawling now too.
Okay. Oh, it's contagious. At any rate, Shota applies the STF in the middle of the ring. Takeshita's moving, but Umino, once again, he's just slamming this knee. He reapplies the hold, and Takeshita takes a long time and use up a lot of energy to make it to the ropes. However, he does recover. He hits a pop-up power bomb, and he applies an STF of his own. He modifies it by sort of wrapping an arm around the neck, but Shota is able to get to the ropes himself. They move to the apron where they just struggle for dominance until Takeshita hits a gnarly looking spike DDT, and he goes to the brainbuster on the outside, but Umino reverses it into a kind of knee breaker, we'll say. Shudder. And throws Takeshita over the barricade. Shota wants a brainbuster of his own on the outside, and the two of them are struggling. Takeshita finally wins. He hits the big brainbuster on the floor. again. Like, this is just Shota's lot in life right now. At this point, Red Shoes is starting to count to remind these guys, get your butts back in here. That's where you're supposed to be fighting. Takeshita makes it back before 10, but Shota, like, he does the big, like, he's struggling as we go through the teens, and, like, at 17, he's at the side of the ring, he collapses, and then gets up to make it in at, like, 19.5. And he's met immediately with a lariat from Takeshita, gets turned inside out by that, and Takeshita's just kind of watching as Umino drags himself to the ropes for support, and he hits, like, big forearms, looking extremely confident in a way that I find only Takeshita can. It's elbow back, the elbow drops to the back of his neck, and Umo pulls himself up again. He gets hit again. And Takeshita he's being this wonderfully arrogant heel to the audience. He's mocking Umino as he tries to get up. And at one point, Red Shoes like legitimately looks less like a ref and more like, stop beating up on my son, dude. It's
that's the interesting thing, because most of the wrestlers he calls by last name, but whenever he refs his son's matches, he calls Shota by his first name. And I'm like, are you a dad right now, or are you doing your job right now? Because like, you're kind of blurring the line on it. And that's always been my sticking point of Red Shoes refereeing Shota's matches, because I'm just like, at what point are you giving your son a longer lead than you would give other wrestlers?
And at this point, because Takeshita wasn't holding him, he was hitting him, but Red Shoes, he lays hands on him, and for that, Takeshita gives him a big shove, like, so the Red Shoes sort of stumbles back. This does give Umino a moment to catch his breath. He hits a big drop kick and a sort of half and half suplex, a German suplex then from Takeshita, a tornado DDT by Umino, and both men are just, like, down. They are worn out at this point. I
love that tornado DDT. I love a
tornado
DDT.
Really,
it was very big, and I love a very flashy tornado DDT.
Shota does them very well too. Like, this is not the first time where I've remarked like that. It's unfortunately one of these moves where 20 years ago it's something that was like a really special thing. Now most people hit them sooner or later, but Umino's is especially pretty.
It's one of the consistently pretty moves he has.
Yes, exactly. And they go in, they're having this forearm battle, and Takeshita's just obviously getting frustrated that he cannot wear Umino down. Then they're just kind of knocking the tar out of each other till Takeshita hits a running kick and puts Umino up on the turnbuckle for a superplex. He goes back, climbs the rope again, but Shota catches him, hits a superplex of his own. They do dueling clotheslines. Umino hits a drop kick and the strike knee for 2. Which is, I'm going back, like, this is, up to this point, there had been very few pin attempts. Like, this would, or at least there had been a very long break since the previous ones. This was just like action without anyone even being able to get to the point of, like, getting a serious threat to end the match. But this is, it gets a 2. Umino goes for Chaos Theory, but Takeshita gets the sleeper hold on, the chicken wing with the body scissors. Shota won't submit, and yes, again, you can hear Red Shoes asking Shota, like, calling him by that first name. Takeshita rolls him over and just tries a conventional pin and does get a 2 count. Blue Thunder Bomb for another 2. So we didn't have any near falls for a while. We're getting a lot of them now. Takeshita goes to the power knee strike, but Umino catches it and hits his heavy lariat, goes for Chaos Theory again, and the bastard driver from Takeshita, but Umino is able to get up, hit another lariat, and then yet another one for a long 2 count. A driver attempt is turned into a deadlift brainbuster from Takeshita, and but Umino sort of rolls him over, gets a very sneaky 2 count, finally is able to hit the second chapter. Shota Umino defeats Konosuke Takeshita in 25 minutes and 46 seconds.
It was our main event, so I expected it to go long. I didn't want it to go long, but it did. I feel like when the second half of the match picked up and they started going very quickly, I wish that would have kicked in earlier in the match, because I felt my attention span waning right before they started getting the match moving, if that makes sense. Like, it was, I know that they were probably trying to work on of pacing themselves, but again, it's one of those things where I've noticed that depending on who his opponent is, will determine whether or not Umino has a standout match versus a a match.
He is deeply affected by who he's fighting, and at this point I think Takeshita could have a minimum 4-star match with just about anyone at this,
Yes.
and I did think Takeshita showed some great character here, like again when he's sort of mocking
Getting
Shota when
frustrated,
he's
yeah.
down, and then with like getting annoyed that he can't just sort of submit him or knock him down the way he has been with others. I say this all the time. I need Shota to show more character. I need to know something about him. And it was really standing out here because with no background whatsoever, yeah, I have the advantage of sort of knowing what his arc has been in AEW, but that doesn't play a huge role here.
Yeah.
And I was able to see Takeshita's character so clearly, and I just could not get that from Shota. And I'm like, you're here all the time. You live here. This is your home promotion.
Yeah. You're fresh.
This guy,
Takeshita is that he's not here all the time.
yeah,
So,
like
you're
dealing with a guy. Yeah, like he is coming off as the more interesting character, and you're one of 3 as far as he's concerned. So I mean, this was, to me, this like easily the best match of the night, but could have been 6 minutes shorter. And at this point I feel like I should be grading Takeshita matches on a curve. Like like he's that good. Like I feel that, if I'm looking at like Shingo Takagi versus Ren Narita, and so just like it doesn't even feel like I'm talking about the same thing.
Yeah. I have Takeshita winning the whole thing, and now I'm just like, I'm not so sure. I don't know if I think he's out at this point, but at the same time, or I'm just like, he could be guaranteed to, like very much like your Shingos and your Gotos. It's very hard to have him be in a bad match. He's a very reliable, very consistent wrestler, which is one of the reasons why I love seeing him in New Japan. And I've been like begging and pleading for him to be in New Japan. So it's just,
I'm curious to know, with these hybrid contracts that more and more wrestlers seem to be doing, and he was the first one to do it. I have to think that guarantees a minimum level of access. And unlike the sort of what I would say the failed experiment with Moxley, when they put a title on Takeshita, he was there. He was defending it. Like he had like a half dozen defenses of that belt. So I'm wondering, like, how much can they guarantee that he's going to be there? Like, what's the I'd kind of like to know what the nitty gritty of these dual contracts or triple contracts are. Like, because for it to have any weight, there can't be one partner who can like just determine when these guys are available. So we'll see. And this is the second year in a row they've had him for a month at a stretch, and so they're clearly like they can access him. Can they access him enough to justify having him win the G1 or putting the big belt on him at some point?
My concern about that was that, like, I have him picked to win the G1, but I'm just like, I don't know if they would eventually pull the trigger on him becoming world champion until he signs a more exclusive contract, or they can guarantee that he'll be, if he were to shoulder the top championship, he'd have to be more available for a certain amount of time to do to work the small towns, to work the small shows, to do the Korakuen halls. Yeah. And I don't know how willing his other obligations are to permit that for any extended period of time.
I think the thing is you have to plan around it. Now, they've managed now twice with him for the G1, but if they want to put him in the world title picture, it's going to be longer than that, and it's going to be at different times of the year. So it requires a level of sophistication with your planning, and we'll see. Like, I don't know what they have planned for him in AEW. They are teasing things. Like, it's not as if he was unimportant. It's not as if he was never featuring there before he went, but we'll see.
Have there been murmurings about his if he's gonna be on Forbidden Door yet, or they haven't announced anything yet for him?
They haven't announced anything yet. I think they're holding off really saying much of what's going to happen with New Japan
Until after the
because I
G1.
think they want after the G1. This scheduling is a very good argument never to have Forbidden Door at this time of the year again, because it's.
I think I saw something they were having a number one contenders for match for a 4-way for
Yes.
Zack's championship
to face Zack. I sort of think that the original plan was for Ospreay to face Zack. He is out injured. I don't know that he's going to be that he's going to be able to be back for that.
I was wondering if they were going to do Ospreay Zack again.
Yeah, I think putting that in the O2, like that would be a certain draw. But this is once again the Forbidden Door curse is in full effect.
Yeah.
I was hoping, if you listened to Collision Course, you heard me say this already last night, so forgive me, I'm going to say it again. I was hoping they'd actually just go to Zack versus Takeshita at Forbidden Door. Like, it's right there. And that gives you something, you can build the story up now. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's, they are not going to go do that way. I think Zack will be facing another Englishman, is the way I'll put it.
Do they have any other Englishmen? Because I guess, Gabe Kidd's out right now.
It's not Nigel McGuinness.
Oh.
He's in the 4-way to face Zack, and my guess is that that's who we're getting.
Okay.
It's another way to
it's a
to make for
sentimental
a happy
favorite.
crowd. Yeah, exactly. And Nigel's had some good matches. Zack is certainly, if you have someone who has some concerns about past injuries, Zack to me is a good guy to put him in the ring with.
He's one of the best in the world for a
reason. It is not confirmed. I just think that that's probably where we're headed.
If that's the direction, they'll be in good hands. Whoever it is will be in good hands with Zachary.
Yeah, I don't like Zack's not going to let anyone have a subpar match. It's not who he is,
especially on his home turf. Absolutely not.
So that's it for day 14. What'd you think? How did it rank in your do you have like a scale of days so far?
Well, I mean, you have to understand, I did opening weekend, so it was 20 matches of the opening weekend of the G1.
Yeah, I have to say, I mind these like divided shows a lot less, having watched those first couple where it's just like, I can't.
It's a lot.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they do it on a weekend, but by the time Bruce and I recorded that first episode, I was just like, I forgot I can't do this anymore. It was a fine show. It doesn't, again, other than the main event, some of the matches were good, but it didn't nothing particularly to write home about. But I think its placement on the card is where it is and where it needs to be. But they were kind of hyping up the whole. It's August 8th at the Yokohama Budokan. It's a big historical date and location for New Japan. I kind of when they said that, all of a sudden I had like my expectations were elevated a fair bit. So it's kind of like, okay, why is there a House of Torture match on this card? Why is this match so short? So I kind of nitpicked it a bit. But it was fine. It was a nice, Friday show.
It was, I as you get to this point in the G1, you start to get, as people's bodies wear down, the matches do get less exceptional. Like right up, like the last shows that will probably turn around. But there is always this point at days 11 through 14 or 15 where it's like, okay, we need to take it easy because we absolutely cannot lose anyone at this point.
They're in conservation mode. They're just trying to get to the finals at Ariake at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no room to maneuver given who they have out injured already, like in terms of what they can do for these shows. So
correct.
Yeah, I would say, not like it was fine. It was certainly not one of my favorite shows to date, but yeah, it was unobjectionable, except for Shingo Takagi versus Ren Narita, which I strenuously object to.
If it was pre-House of Torture Ren Narita, I feel like we would have a very different match. We would have a very different opinion on it. Yeah.
But I kind of want, actually, for something in Forbidden Door, that what I would actually love to see would just be like Ren Narita showing up and just Katsuyori Shibata coming out and just like kicking the snot out of him for like 5 straight minutes. Like just nothing but like this like 10 stars. Like this would be like a match of the year. Just like
put Samoa Joe on commentary for it, please.
Yeah,
I just want to hear that man just do the commentary for this one specific match, which is the reckoning of Ren Narita.
Yeah, and just like Shibata just comes and just like beats some sense into his boy. Yep, this is absolutely main event potential right there.
Yes.
Sign
my money
the hell up. Yep.
So yeah, for show Rex, I guess we'll Umino versus Takeshita. It's the main event for a reason on the show, but other than that, if you want to watch all the matches, go ahead. But again, it's
What I will say is that I liked Umino versus Takeshita, but if you listen to Collision Course last night, the Fletcher Tomohiro Ishii match so far surpassed that. Like,
I mean,
that is part of why I'm in a bit of a conundrum with this show because Kyle Fletcher is spoiling me, and in particular this one last night, a match with a totally foregone conclusion. They had an absolutely brilliant show. They did not stop for like close to 20 minutes, and including the ad, right through ad breaks, everything. This was I know John Pollock was saying at the time, he's like, this was a top tier G1 type match.
This is why I miss Tomohiro Ishii in the G1.
Yeah, I said no. It could be he's doing
he's doing it, but over here in America.
Yeah, but he's not doing it 3-4 times a week, and that's I think where the difference is. Like he can come in and do this. Like
it's the Minoru Suzuki summer vacation plan. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so having watched that match last night, this entire card seemed a little gray to me. Like it did not rise to that level.
Okay,
we got one more night to go through. Shall
we move on to today's review? All right, so today, August 10th, night 15, we are closing in on the last sprint of the G1 from G Messe Gunma with an attendance of 2,053. Apparently, a sold out crowd.
Yes, they were driving that home. This was sold out. So
can't say I've
take your wins where you can get them.
It's a smaller, more rural prefecture, so it's kind of in the middle of the country, but still very popular.
And I guess when you don't get like G1 level shows, you're gonna sit up and pay attention. So good scheduling by their backroom types. This is now we are very much getting into the elimination phase here. There's a lot of dominoes that are going to fall on
the math.
tonight's
the
show.
Maths begin here.
Yes, the math is mathing super hard,
and I'm not doing the mathing. Somebody else is.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing this because the last show I hosted, I just repeated what Walker Stewart said, which was that Shingo Takagi was eliminated last time, and immediately Eric Marcotte had to correct me and say no, this was brought up. That's actually wrong, which is why we just need Chris Charlton glued to a chair all the time. He always is the guy for this stuff. But I'm gonna go with what they said on the show tonight. I have not checked, but they did seem to be being extra special cautious. I think they might have heard something about that bad call themselves, because they were
throwing back to Tokyo for all the math confirmations before announcing anything.
It was very much like, we need to check with our special accounting team. But starting us off for the evening, we have Taichi versus Bolton Oleg, and they got to kind of a slow start until there's sort of a battle of kicks from Taichi and sort of forearm shoves from Oleg. Taichi hits a pump kick, which takes Oleg down. They're both fighting to hit suplexes. You see Taichi breaking out some of his sumo style. It's an overhead arm drag from Bolton that shifts the momentum. He does the gut wrench spot and the fall away slam, which the crowd applauds. I think I said this last time I was doing one of these shows. I don't need to see that one every match. I like it, but it's just one of those spots where, like, you could even hear the reaction for it isn't as much as it was the first few times he'd hit it.
Yeah.
Moving along. Bolton hits a tilt-whirl backbreaker, and he holds on to Taichi around the chest. He's just slamming him down and keeping up that pressure on the ribs, which Taichi's doing a wonderful job of selling. Taichi recovers a bit, but is taken down by a big kick and is slammed again. Bolton goes for the Bolton bomb, but Taichi's able to move out of the way, and he blocks a Bolton forearm with a kick, takes Oleg down with an enziguri, and off come the pants. Yes, I'm very glad that he got to do this himself, because in the previous show that I was hosting, this was done for him. Callum Newman, evil little bastard.
We appreciate consensual pants removing in matches. Always ask for permission before stripping a man's pants off.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't think that in 2025 you'd have to say this, but apparently
we do.
You do. Oleg hits a splash in the corner, and he goes at Kamikaze but misses. Taichi hits another enziguri to the back and the dangerous driver. He tries a clothesline, which just absolutely Oleg standing like, no. They sort of do dueling clotheslines in the middle of the ring, which takes Taichi off his feet again. But against the run of play, we shall say Taichi hits another enziguri, the Axe Bomber, and gets a 2 count. Drop kick from Oleg takes Taichi down once again, though. He tries the Kamikaze, which is blocked. He tries for a thrust kick, but it's caught, and Oleg hits, I guess, what they call a short-range Kamikaze, which actually looks pretty cool. But Taichi gets up, he hits a thrust kick, he lands a thrust kick this time, and a back elbow, forearm, roundhouse kick, and all of that adds up to a 2 count. Both men are slow getting to their feet. Bolton gets Taichi up on the shoulders, but Taichi keeps chopping away at him. Bolton powers up again and hits the verdict. Yes, it's called the verdict. I kept calling it the F5, which is this is going to make me crazy, like trying to remember everyone's name for this move. It's the verdict. Fine. He goes to the Kamikaze. Taichi gets sort of a schoolboy roll up, and he gets a 2 count. Old school Taichi coming out. He pokes him in the eyes. It's a jackknife cover for another 2. Oleg escapes the Black Mephisto, and it's a giant powerbomb for a 2 count of his own. Nails the Kamikaze, and finally, Bolton Oleg defeats Taichi with one of Taichi's shoulders appearing to be curled right off the mat. Still counts.
Love a little
the ref counted 3. Mm-hmm.
Oh, who knows? It might play into a storyline future down the road, but
it might. And Oleg, though, good guy, though he's sort of become like the sort of good strong boy of New Japan. He helps Taichi to his feet, and I'm used to watching American shows. I'm like, which one of them is gonna kick the other in the groin? But they didn't. It was a nice show of respect.
Sportsmanship. We have it from time to time here. It was, I enjoyed the match. It was one of those things where I was pleasantly surprised by how far they let Oleg get in this year's tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I again, Taichi's a sentimental favorite, especially after sitting out last year's tournament. But again, he knew the assignment. He knew what he had to do, and he's doing what a lot of other veterans should be doing, which is putting over the younger talent. And I will scream this until the cows come home. Taichi, he had a good tournament. Did we, in my heart of hearts, did I want him to win? Yeah. Was he ever going to win? Probably not. But yeah, it was a good match. It was, I give them a banana split just because they've both worked very hard this year.
Yeah, I'd go with 2.5 with this one out of the nameless scale. Like, I'm just gonna start spitting out numbers. Like when someone would be like 13, -1.8. And so we'll see 2.5 of this one. You can just compare to the other numbers that I've yelled out at different times.
I look forward to your rating for this next match. So I can
do
tell
you?
right
Really?
now, of course, that excitement. It's just bubbling over. You can't control it.
See, that's the thing. Every time I set up for one of these block nights, I like Tsuji and Uemura and and David Finlay, and it's gonna be and Taichi and Oleg. They're always so fun, and then I come face to face with the reality that there's also 2 House of Torture matches to get through.
Sure is. At least they're not back to back on this card, because those are hard to watch. This one actually has a breathing.
See, I'm never sure if I find that worse or if I find it better, because it's just like one big chunk and then it's over. It's like, would you like?
I don't need a palate cleanser for these particular matches.
It's 5 matches. It's gonna weigh heavy if no matter what. But we have Ryohei Oiwa. I'm just going to apologize now for however I screw up his name during this, versus Sanada. Oiwa, I would say, has certainly been one of the most eye-catching people in this G1. I mean, you knew he was you knew he was good. You knew he was someone who they were building for the future. I don't know that I realized how far along he is, that he is someone who slots right into the G1, and now I want to see him in title pictures. I want to see him get a singles push. I don't know, if this is what you were expecting, or if you've kind of been pleasantly surprised.
After his stint in Noah and him coming back, I'm glad that they're giving him that push, and I'm glad that they've kind of held off on it, because it's felt like a very organic build for him. But again, it's only this was his debutante year in the G. He wasn't in the G1 last year, was he? I can't remember.
No.
So it's one of those things where it's just like for a first year, it's an exceptionally strong showing. Yeah,
and I think he's sort of, to me, he's defined himself. Like I was talking about with Shota, how he needs to define himself, like character-wise and style-wise. Like Oiwa, to me, I get it. Like with him, I can see he feels like a complete character.
Wrestler.
Exactly. So, but now he has to wrestle Sanada.
Sure does.
Hey, remember when Sanada was the world champion?
Oh, good times.
Yeah, good times.
I miss Pirate Sanada personally in LIJ. That was peak Sanada for me.
Yes. I was watching this, and this is one of these things is talking about this, like immediately, like it flashes up in his sort of extremely, like the world's most boring font for his entrance video. Yeah. It says cold-blooded snake.
Yep.
I'm not an expert in herpetology. I don't study snakes for a living,
nor do I.
But are there snakes that aren't cold-blooded? Because I've never heard of one. Like, yes, by definition, if you are a snake, you are cold-blooded. They go together.
My problem with the naming is that when I see it, I think of Cold Hearted Snake by Paula Abdul, and I feel like that would be a more appropriate theme song for him right now, because it's giving I don't know that I'm not the main character energy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to be a bad guy, but check out my hip fun theme song.
Well, in New Japan Fashion Week or Fashion Month, we tonight's outfit we have I guess someone stapled together a leather bomber jacket with these sort of sateen coattails, and he's paired these with insectoid sunglasses. Sort of.
He should have just kept the stereo himbo look. That's the best heel House of Torture, a heel Bullet Club era Sanada outfit. That's the one. All of these other ones are not it.
I will say that the only bit of House of Torture that I look forward to in this is seeing what Sanada is going to come out to wear.
His sartorial choices.
Yeah. I think the issue for me is that it very much is something that Seth Rollins did years ago now in WWE.
He has those boots.
Exactly. So it feels it unfortunately makes it look like New Japan kind of mimicking something that WWE did, which is really not something that they should be going for. He did bring out the stringless guitar because
I wonder what's going to happen.
I have no idea. I never know why he brings this. It could be anything.
I'd say he could play.
Yeah, I'd say maybe that's what I'll do. I'll start walking around with a guitar with no strings. I think that could be a look. Sure. Okay, let's just power through this.
Speed run it. Let's go.
Okay. Oiwa starts out. He gets a grip on Sanada's leg while Sanada's trying to apply the body scissors. There's a sort of nice mat sequence of actual wrestling that happens here for like 35 seconds. Shoulder block and a scoop slam and a drop kick from Oiwa. He applies a headlock, but Sanada fights out only to get hip tossed and end up in another side headlock. This is going to become the story for the next little while. Is Sanada trying to manipulate his way out, and Oiwa just being too strong, like the applying just the headlock of certain death. Sanada does manage to get away long enough. He goes for like a springboard and tries for a set, but he misses that. He tries for a side headlock of his own, which just immediately caught in Oiwa's grip again. It's not he's able to get away, hits a drop kick to the knees and pulls the ropes as Oiwa runs at him, so that Oiwa goes crashing to the outside. Sanada goes for his own special version of the plancha, one of the only vestiges of formerly good and entertaining Sanada. But Oiwa gets out of the way. He and applies, you'll never guess this, headlock! And he shoves Sanada into the ring post. Sanada is able to hit a suplex onto the apron, which gives him a moment to sort of contemplate his aching neck. He hangs Oiwa off the apron and DDTs him onto the floor, throws him back in the ring, and hits a draping neck breaker. Sets up for skull end, but Oiwa powers out and hits a vertical suplex. A splash from Oiwa gets him a 2 count. He goes for another splash, but misses from the top turnbuckle. Sanada tries a moonsault, but Oiwa gets the knees up, and at this point, both men are kind of like struggling to get back on their feet. Sanada hits a nasty-looking moonsault, but once again, Oiwa captures him and applies a sleeper. I think they knew where this was supposed to end up. The way they got to it was exceptionally inelegant.
Correct.
It was ambitious. Oiwa hits a German suplex and gets a 2 count for that, but he maintains his grip even when Sanada kicks out. But Sanada is finally able to get free. Well, he lands on his feet after another German suplex attempt, hits a shining wizard to the back of Oiwa's head, and something which I'm going to say about halfway between a shining wizard and a leg lariat. And we'll just leave it at that. Leg met head.
It was a creative use of leg.
Yes, exactly. And now let the games begin. He throws Oiwa into Marty Asami and sort of mule kicks him in the groin during the distraction. Goes for the guitar and swings it, but Oiwa is able to grab him and apply a sleeper hold. Sanada takes out Asami again because once is never enough. And Asami just doesn't you're not going to do anything. You might as well keep hitting him.
I hope he's getting hazard pay.
Sanada mixes things up by doing the Eddie Guerrero spot. He tosses the guitar to Oiwa and drops to the mat, pretending that he's been hit. And Asami is confused by this because,
not a
shocking
scratch on that guitar.
No, but clearly, it's not like Sanada's ever hit anyone with a guitar, so it must have been Oiwa that did this. Anyway, Sanada shoves Oiwa into him again. This time takes a guitar, smashes it over Oiwa's head. Walker, my commentary line of the night says, "This is unreasonable." Walker, my dear sweet summer child, we passed unreasonable in March of 2020.
That is
this
correct.
Is so far beyond unreasonable.
It's criminal at this point.
Yeah. Marty Asami regains consciousness just in time to make the 3 count. Sanada defeats Ryohei Oiwa, which means that both men are eliminated themselves, and this also takes out Callum Newman, all in 10 minutes and 22 seconds. That felt like barely more than 25 minutes.
Yeah. It's remember the times when Okada and Sanada used to go 30 minutes and it didn't feel like 30 minutes? Mm-hmm. I felt every minute of this very short match. And it made me very sad. It made me
I'm
very,
thinking
very
of like
sad.
Sanada like breaking down after that match with Okada, where it's like he came so close, and like of course the Sanada, the emotionless one, just sort of breaking afterwards. Yes. It's a great moment.
Now it's just when I used to be a flight attendant, when whether you were having a good day or a bad day, somebody asked you how you're doing, you just say, I'm living the dream. Even if you have the dead eyes, I'm living the dream. And I feel like that's the stage of the guys in House of Torture. Mm-hmm. They're living the dream. They're being professional wrestlers, but whether or not they are creatively and professionally fulfilled is beyond that point. At this point, they just, it's the job stability aspect.
Like at some point, one of these guys is going to leave and they're going to do interviews, and that's going to be really interesting to me. Like
the when it's not, the Japanese wrestlers are probably not going to say anything.
They don't have that
unless it's a foreign wrestler that has the inside knowledge. A lot of them will just keep it. They will take that to the grave, as it were, or they'll write a book and make a whole lot of money. Yeah, and the book will be mistranslated and taken out of context. Like, it's bound to happen.
At any rate, so that was the match that happened.
Yep, and as a result, we've got a very cranky Callum Newman coming.
Yeah, like Callum Newman walks out. He is facing Yota Tsuji, and he walks out looking like someone who just found out that he's been eliminated from the tournament. It's like
the fighting spirit is gone. It's just like right.
He's introduced some edge in the last couple of matches, like the Taichi's pants incident, which we've already discussed. But yeah, whatever he looked like before he walked through that curtain, clearly someone communicated to him that, like, oh yeah, that match that you had nothing to do with, that sort of debacle that we just watched for the last 10 minutes, that puts you out too, sweetie.
See, I wish that in that case they would have flip-flopped these matches and let him have his match first, because it's more of he could have ran out and beat down Sanada afterwards for eliminating him. Now it's just like, oh, I got to go to work, or
just for fun.
It's the I'm living the dream.
Yeah,
that's where we're at with him.
Yota Tsuji, on the other hand, like he's golden. Like the odds that he gets eliminated are next to nothing at this point, just because of the advantages he holds with tiebreakers. So he's walking out, not a care in the world, the customary smile. Callum is already getting kind of capricious. He tries on Tsuji's hat, he threatens to stomp it, but then hands it back, just shoves Tsuji's chest. Tsuji, untroubled. He's living the dream.
He's very unbothered by everything.
Yep, exactly. Again, moisturized, unbothered.
I'm so glad you know that reference. Am I unbothered? I am unbothered.
Exactly. So, understandably, given their two positions, Callum's super aggressive off the top, just trying to blow off some steam. He's hitting lots of punches. He throws Tsuji to the outside, goes for a plancha, and Tsuji just nails him out of midair, like he was shot. And then for bonus effect, suplexes him onto the floor. They go into the crowd, where Tsuji just launches Newman into some chairs. Asami starts the count, and Tsuji just strolls back to the ring as the camera lingers on poor embittered Callum, covered in chairs and shame. He is slow to get back, and as soon he gets back to the ring on time, but you see he's hesitant to go back in, and with reason. He gets attacked the second he does, rolls right back to the outside, finally makes a more determined attempt to get back in the ring, is met with chops from Yota and stomps in the corner. There's a flatliner to Newman, which gets a 2 count. Tsuji applies a chokehold and then just like drives his knee into Callum's back. So Callum, who's already sort of got this tapestry of kinesio tape on his back, is struggling to stand up, but he's not going to give in. This is not. He is eliminated from the tournament, but damn it, he still has his pride. So he kicks Yota in the gut, lands a big forearm to take him off his feet, but this is like more of a chance for Callum to catch his breath than anything. He hits a running boot in the corner and the penalty kick. It's a quick pin attempt, which does not work. He delivers a kick to the stomach, a suplex for another short 2. We have a forearm exchange, and Callum goes to the cutter. Once again, Yota just kicks him out of thin air. Like, nope. Callum is going to be having like traumatic flashbacks every time he sort of just jumps even like a couple of inches in the air after this match, because like he just got
he can't catch a break with a neck. He's just like nothing's going right for him.
So yeah, Yota just like kicks him out of the air, stomps on his head, slam, curb stomp for 2, and then like I say for 2. This kind of looked like Callum might have had a spasm. And that lifted one of his shoulders off the mat, because this was the weakest kick out you will ever see. Newman, like, he sort of Yota goes for the Gene Buster. Newman jumps over it, and I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if he meant to actually jump all the way over Yota, or if he meant to do what happened, which is he got partway over him, but then the feet ended up coming down on Yota's back. This was kind of cool, but it didn't look like this was necessarily on purpose. So
I think it was a happy accident, but because I feel like he may have overshot it, but managed to get his toes in the right place before landing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so whatever was intended here did look pretty cool, and it did finally mean that he got some offense in on Yota's back. He goes for the cutter again. I'm not quite sure why. That attempt is blocked. He does hit a Spanish fly, and this, almost went very wrong.
Bad.
Like you saw when they did the flip, Yota's hair, like, easily you saw it, like, just the top of his head brushing the mat. Like, they barely cleared this.
His head turning. I was like, no. Like, I for my sanity, I watched it back to make sure I saw what I saw, and I was just like, I've seen them both do Spanish flies in the past, but I don't know if it's just, again, the tournament catching up with them, but I'm glad they cleared it.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to do another one for quite some time after this.
No. I think that this deep into the G1, it might not be the best idea to go attempting moves like a Spanish fly, especially when you're attempting it on someone who has a good few inches on you height-wise. Is always, it does work better when it's a taller person doing it on a shorter person, and Yota's the taller person here, so you're relying on him to be able to tuck, and when your body's tired, you're just not getting that same level of clearance. So they landed the move, and there was a 2 count, but I think whatever's happened during the 2 count, I was just like, he's alive, right? Yeah, everyone's good? Okay.
There was the collective sigh of relief that went with it. I was like, I had to pause and be like, they're okay.
Yes, everyone's alive.
And then hit play again. Everyone's alive.
And this is what I'm looking at this going like, oh God, I did just say that I was really happy to be able to be doing like more of a happy show with Karen, that we wouldn't be in like, so please, no traumatic injuries. And spoiler alert, there were none. Not for lack of trying.
Thank God.
Newman climbs the ropes, goes for a stomp. He misses. He does block the Gene Blaster. It hits a big kick. He goes back up to the ropes, and this time he does hit the double stomp exactly as how he intends to, but he is slow to cover, and that means that he only gets a 2 count. There's a sort of short Gene Blaster, like a short angle Gene Blaster from Tsuji, but Callum gets to the ropes to break the count. This is the second time when Tsuji has hit the Gene Blaster that I've seen in the last couple of days, but he's accidentally knocked his opponent too close to the ropes, and they've been able to escape that way. Yeah. So watch your positioning, Yota. A massive running knee in the corner from Tsuji, a curb stomp from the top rope, which always, I like that move. It's so just efficiently brutal. He waits for Newman to. He waits for Newman to get up. Like, rather than just going with the pin, he wants to hit him with the Gene Blast. But Newman can't even stay upright long enough for Yota to do the run up. So Yota just hits another curb stomp and the 17 crosses for to Newman and gets the pin at 11 minutes and 17 seconds.
I feel like the tournament has taken its toll on Callum Newman. And it's a good experience for him, but when I see that much kinesio tape on someone's back, I'm like, you need to just like go soak in a hot spring for like a week and like not do anything.
I'm glad they're having him. Yeah, I'm glad they're having him do 11-minute matches and not 17-minute matches, because I think if they were stretching it out more than this, someone's going to get hurt. And I think that he's done very well.
Yeah, he's had a great tournament.
He's 22 years old. He is still very much, phrase of the day, work in progress. So he will get stronger, but right now you can tell he's the one I find in the G1 where I can see the real injuries most clearly.
Yeah.
Like that.
And like, him being 22, that's where I get all my, it's a marathon, not a sprint, if you want to have a long career. And it's yes, you can do the flashy moves, and yes, they look great, but also think a little bit longer term.
Try not to die,
and especially as being a heavyweight. I had the same concerns when Osprey first went heavyweight and was still trying to do Spanish flies with much bigger guys, and I'm like, oh god, no. So it's one of those things where it's just like you have to find what works for you, and I think he has a great plan and a great consistent, I hate using the word moveset, but he has things that he always incorporates into his matches. But I also think he needs to start thinking of ways that he can tweak certain things when you're at a point in a tournament like this to avoid potentially injuring yourself or your partner.
I think the thing is too, he very much, I'm going to use the phrase, he very much still has a junior heavyweight moveset. A lot of what he does are the things that you see more in Best the Super Juniors.
Correct.
But it's one thing that he's larger, but he's also doing it to larger guys. And yeah, that is going to put a strain, especially on your back. It is not as easy to do this on a guy the size as Yota Tsuji as it is, say, a guy the size of Kushida. It's not the same.
Apples and oranges.
And you can quite literally, because if you lift an apple and an orange, one of them is noticeably heavier.
Correct.
The apple does usually weigh more
because it's denser.
So something happened. We'll just go right ahead to talk about Uemura versus David Finlay, shall we?
Oh, wow. You're not going to talk about the realtor that was evil, who was selling everybody on House of Torture, not being just a bunch of sellouts? Because, I don't know, you can't spell believe without evil, apparently, which that was a new one for me.
Not wrong, actually. But
the first 7 minutes were pretty good when, the wrestling was happening, and then it all went sideways.
See,
it was good while it lasted.
His whole thing about no, he was going to face Tanahashi alone. No, you're not.
No, you're
because
not.
If
Why
you're
are you always
evil,
lying?
You're not at your matches aren't entertaining if you just do your moves. He's a very sort of a solid hand, shall we say, but unexceptional. And I don't want to I'm at the point where I don't want to see a House of Torture match. I also don't just want to see a regular evil match, because you've got all of this other all these other prime guys around that he just doesn't stand out, even if he in theory he tried to do a regular match. But look, he said he would try.
He did. To his credit, he tried for half the match.
And
I will say this much: Evil sells the sun, the moon, the stars to protect Tanahashi for a lot of these moves that he does. So for all my bemoaning about how I miss LIJ Evil, the way he was like throwing himself across the ring in this match to make Tanahashi look fantastic.
I cannot fault his effort in this one. He wanted, and I think that's one of the reasons why that promo where he seemed to almost get emotionally talked about what, like, respecting Tanahashi and wanting to make this a clean match. I think that works because it is probably how evil the wrestler actually feels. Like, I think that's it felt real because it is real. It's just that it's not the character he's playing.
Yeah. Deep down, Takaaki Watanabe, that's his true heart feeling of the entire situation.
Exactly.
And possibly the last singles match he'll ever have against Tanahashi.
Yeah. So this is how he's choosing to go out. Okay. So Evil does indeed come out alone, sort of teasing that he's going to make good on his promise of a clean match. At this point, I'm just looking at this going, telling myself, it's like, if I can make it through this, I am sure the main event is going to be very good.
I'm enjoying the very dulcet voice narration of the story time with Kate about
look, Tanahashi.
I
have to do something with this. I can't just sit here and like read it off like this is a reasonable thing to be saying.
A dramatic reinterpretation by Kate from Montreal.
We start. There is a lockup, which doesn't establish an advantage. The kick to the stomach and a side headlock from Evil. Fair game. He did take down and head scissors from Tanahashi that kind of forces them apart. They do the sort of pause and stare at each other as the crowd reacts. You know, the thing that happens when you have two guys who they've locked up and they want to show some respect. This is all about respect. That's all this match is about. Nothing but. Tanahashi hits a springboard crossbody, and man, I am being generous there. Evil responds with a dragon screw. He just goes to work. He is stomping on Tanahashi's hamstrings because for some reason thinks the legs might be a problem for him. No idea where he got that idea. He's driving Tanahashi's knees into the mat. He continues to work on legs, and he's thank you so much. Yeah, like I am doing the recap on the night of knees. This is absolutely what I needed. He knows that this is his weakness though, but Tanahashi's able to get to the ropes, his kicks and chops from Evil. It's a fisherman suplex. Nice looking fisherman suplex. Remember, he can do those. That gets a 2 count. Tanahashi takes down Evil with a running forearm. He keeps the advantage with a scoop slam, climbs to the second rope, and lands a senton for 2. Evil sort of ties Tanahashi's legs up again, tries to force the submission, but Tanahashi is able to crawl slowly and painfully to the ropes. Evil hits Darkness Falls, and that gets a 2 count. He goes to the leg sweep, but can't connect, and is taken down by Tanahashi. Evil pops back up. He hits a lariat, which gets another 2 count, and then he applies a very nice looking Scorpion Deathlock. Like he hits this very smoothly, very well. I'm trying to be nice. I'm looking for stuff. Okay, yes, the man can apply a hold. Bravo. That's what we're here for.
He's able to fold up Tanahashi's battered knees into the fold.
Indeed. Exactly. So he gets this at a great angle. Tanahashi, he does make it to the ropes, but boy, it takes some time. It's another lariat from Evil, but Tanahashi, this does not take him off his feet. He stands firm. They're both hitting forearm strikes, a twist and shout from Tanahashi. Doesn't make a pin attempt. Sling blade from Tanahashi, still no pin attempt. Might have wanted to go for a pin there. But, I'm just armchair quarterbacking this. He climbs to the top ropes to go for the high fly flow, but Evil moves, and Tanahashi just like watching a fly hit your windshield. Like this just...
His knee, his elbow, everything. I was like, oh no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, oh,
all the bad joints that he has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just all got crushed there, And
Yeah.
here comes Dom Fale and Dick Togo. And they arrive, they slide a chair to Evil, who's like trying to wave them off. Like, no, I said I would do this alone. Good guy Evil. Remember when Tamatonga did that sort of switch where he was going to try to be the good bad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
saying.
Good times. But he actually turned into a baby face after that.
Yeah. At this point, even if they wanted to, they can't turn Evil babyface because they got no other heels. So, he is, for better or for worse, their top heel. Oh, silent moment of contemplation.
Makes me sad.
We're almost there. Okay. Rich is arguing with Fale and Dick, while Evil and Tanahashi are sort of fighting over the chair. Red Shoes turns around. He takes the chair, and as he's getting rid of it, Evil is evil. He blows white powder in Tanahashi's face and takes out Red Shoes at the same time. So then it's Tanahashi gets triple teamed by the house. The dick-to-dick contact, the grenade, which I always call the Tongan spike, whatever. The Fale's thumb to the throat thing. It's like, it's there. And finally, Evil hits Evil, which, when did it stop being everything is evil? Like, they just call it Evil now, so I'm stuck with this, like, the wrestler can't have a finisher that is just his name. That's not fair.
Yeah. No. I just remember, like, there used to be a time where it was like, everything is evil. Like, it made me feel something. Just saying evil. It's lacking
Evil
creativity.
hits evil. Indeed. Well, much. Yeah. Boy, that says a lot. Yes.
Into a wall.
12 minutes and 50 seconds, in case you're wondering how much of your life you're not getting back.
Yep. Again, I liked the part of the match that involved the wrestling because I saw summer 2020 Evil in the wrestling. But
I wonder how much of that is still left, though. Like, again, he's 5 years older now. Can he still, like, the level that he was at before he left LIJ?
Yeah,
that was likely the highest level he's, in terms of performance, he was ever able to get.
Hold on, I want to know how old he is, because I think he's like in his mid-30s now.
Mid to late 30s, like 37,
right.
36, 37.
Specify New Japan because I put Evil. He's 38, so he's closing in on 40. But like his weight hasn't fluctuated that much since in the last few years. He's just
look. These guys can go until well in their 40s, but with the type of matches he's having now, isn't, like, he's not going to be keeping things up. It's what we were saying about Narita.
I miss his running senton though. That was one of my favorite Evil moves because it had like the hair and everything going, and it was. I actually
I liked his old music. That's I really the House of Torture sort of B-movie music is one thing, but I liked that sort of old his old.
I liked his LH because it fit the character. He was the King of Darkness. Now he's just he's just grumpy. he's a grumpy middle-aged man.
I will say that him sort of maniacally laughing at everyone for having believed that he would do anything other than this. Yeah, like, okay, that's a vibe.
Yeah. But that's it's. But I'm at the it is what it is stage of the acceptance stage of everything at this point, because I know that it's not going to
serenity
change,
prayer.
But I wish there was a. I kind of want some baby face turns for some people, but that would require other people to go heel, and I don't know if they have anyone in the wings that could pull that off at this stage in time.
I think that they're going to have to, because at this point, if the War Dogs are going to get cheered no matter what you have them do, I think like you don't just have to turn a couple of people. You might have to look at turning a stable, like maybe TMDK, who I think could work as heels. At least temporarily.
Yeah. Because we've seen heel Zack before with Suzuki-gun. Robbie Eagles used to be in Bullet Club. Shane and Mikey have done heel work as TMDK also, so it's possible. But I also feel like they need to build up a they need to do something with United Empire. They need to they need to start making new factions.
Yeah.
And make one that could be a comparable rival as a group of bad guys.
Yeah. And I think we've never gotten heel Shingo. I don't know. Now his stuff is just so likable, but I could just see a heel run from him. I mean, that's the thing. Like, he was always a heel. Like,
see, the thing is, the LIJ was supposed to be heels, but they were so wildly popular and so beloved that they people kind of just forgot that they're supposed to be Rudos, and they're just But
I would not be opposed to a heel Shingo run. I really wouldn't, and have him sort of have a group around him. I think they're teasing Newman
going
changing.
heel.
I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with United Empire at this point. I think might be time to unaffiliate those guys.
I feel like it's time to find a new group for them. Whether whether they join a different group or they dissolve and they carve out a piece of Hantai, kind of like just Five Guys, but not just Five Guys. Make it different.
Yeah,
but
something more interesting. Yes.
Yeah, and more stable with people that aren't going to get spirited away elsewhere. I still think Yo needs a heel turn and to join United Empire, but that's just me.
Oh, that could Yo's such a fascinating character to me. Like,
I always wanted Yo to turn heel and Sho to be a baby face, and I'm hoping that one day that happens. I just don't know when or if it ever will.
Yeah.
Hey.
Shows kind of he's on the House of Torture bus. Like, I don't know that he can still have matches at the level that he did a few years ago, because I don't see them. Like, it again, you are time's a wasting, my boy. And,
I feel like that was always the thing I liked about Ishimori, that even though he was a heel and he did the cowardly heel from time to time, he was also one of the most dominant guys.
Bangers.
That's the kind of heels you want in New Japan.
100%.
Not the cowardly chicken shit heels. Yeah, I shouldn't be able to beat them in a bar fight, and I feel like I could beat House of Torture in a bar fight.
And that's like, this is.
That's the soundbite for the show.
I wish you would. I wish you would. Almost there. Main event time. Yes, Yuya Uemura versus David Finlay. And with this one, basically the loser is eliminated is what we're going in. We're going in now. It has a sort of a cascading effect, but for these two, one or the other of them is statistically done at the end of the night. There's a long stare down at the beginning of the match, and the crowd they seem to be trying to make up their minds which way they're going to go with this.
I think they're also trying to do the math at this point.
Yeah. Just no, like, it's the meme of the woman with all of like the mathematical formulas going past her head. It's like this is all of us trying to figure out what to just wait for Chris Charlton to tell us.
The conspiracy board with all the ribbons everywhere, being like,
exactly. Sort of pitting everything together, like the sort of the lizards and like the Illuminati, and they're all going into figuring out who wins the G1.
I feel like that's what Chris Charlton's cubicle at the office looks like. Is that it has like all the ribbons.
I hope it does. I hope it does. So these two start off. At this point, they're sort of feeling each other out, like in the most literal sense. Like, they're trying to get a hold of each other, but they're not succeeding. Like, they're never quite able to lock anything in. They finally start trading kind of arm twists, which the battle goes in favor of Uemura. He does some arm drag throws, and he won't let go even when they fall to the outside. I always have a soft spot for that when the guys go out and they're still hanging on to each other. It's, I don't know. I think it's cute.
Girl, same.
Finlay tries to throw Yuya into the guardrails, but Yuya dodges, and Finlay, who's charging at him, just wipes out hard. Takes him a few seconds to recover, and of course he does. So he's still the Bullet Club guy at heart. He gouges Yuya's eye just to prove it. They get back in the ring. There's another snap arm drag and a throw that takes Finlay down. They're trading blows over the ropes, and Finlay shoulder checks Yuya off the apron into the guardrail. I mean, this was like Yuya flew. Like, I don't know. It was like Finlay put an explosive charge in his shoulder. So Finlay gets down, he stomps on me, grinds his face into the bars, he drags him back into the ring and tries to put a pin. Only gets a 1 though. So he's annoyed. He launches Yuya into the corner, but this takes both of them off their feet. Which ultimately, like, he's able to get a sort of a pin on. He gets a 2 count, but that is all. Applies a side headlock for what it says in my notes, about 2 hours.
It was a very long embrace, as it were.
Yeah, I know. Yes, I like just you said, look, just kiss already. Look, if someone's gonna hold on to me like that for that long, they better be buying me a drink. Is all I'm saying.
Bare minimum, maybe dinner.
Yeah. Yuya, he comes back with forearms, and Finlay's sort of encouraging him. He's doing his shit talking thing. Yuya hits a rebound crossbody that takes Finlay off his feet, and a big back elbow, arm drag, drop kick, splash in the corner, and a side suplex. But Finlay lands on his feet. He takes all of this, and he is still standing. So Finlay just returns the favor with the side suplex. They keep going kind of back and forth with them landing on their feet until Yuya is able to hit one that takes Finlay down for a 2 count. Yuya goes back to working on the arm, at which point Walker is calling attention to the fact that Finlay has a long history of shoulder troubles. He's had surgery on both of them that took him out at one point for like the better part of a year.
Yeah.
So this is good thinking from our boy Yuya. Finlay does make it to the ropes. He clotheslines Yuya, and both again fall to the outside. Running power bomb. Well, power bomb. It would have been a power bomb, but he mashed him into the corner post rather than throwing him down on the ground. So all power, no bomb. Finlay returns to the ring, and he's just sort of he's kind of smarmy arsehole self, like hanging out, to like leaning on the ropes, just perfectly willing to take the count out victory if he can get it. But Yuya makes it back in at 18. Finlay immediately hits him with a suplex, which gets a short 2, and Finlay's just like grabbing and encouraging him, just give up, it'll all be over, you'll be fine. Yuya does not take this advice. Nope, he lands a couple forearms, and but Finlay's able to get the Northern Irish Curse for another 2, and goes to launch Yuya to the outside, but gets taken out himself instead. Uemura climbs the ropes and hits a high fly attack to Finlay on the outside. Yuya throws him back into the ring and goes for an armbar. Again, going after that vulnerable spot on Finlay. And Finlay's desperately trying to keep his arms locked, but finally Uemura is able to snap the arm back, and Finlay's is to use all his strength to scramble to the bottom rope. Yuya, in the meantime, almost gets like the cheap pin, almost manages to roll him up from nothing. But nope, the hold is broken. They have to go back. Uemura hits a German suplex for 2, and he holds onto the waist as Finlay is just desperately reaching for the ropes. David wriggles free, hits a backbreaker, and that gets another 2. Lifts him up for the overkill, but Yuya turns this into a dragon screw and once again snaps his arm back, holds it, and is able to just reapply that as Finlay makes to escape. Finlay manages to roll him over so his shoulders are down, but Yuya drags him right back into an armbar, and Finlay again is going for the ropes and is pulled back just as he's about to get there. Uemura traps both arms. Finlay is screaming in pain, but he won't submit, even though it looks at some points like he's trying to tap, but we are assured, no, this is not a tap. Finlay kind of jerk forward to the ropes. As he's doing so, Uemura grabs and folds back one of his legs. So he's literally having to use his last remaining limb to get to the ropes, which he is finally able to do. And he is not in good shape. So Uemura, he's looking for the deadbolt suplex, but he has to actually pull Finlay to his feet to even try to get it on, because there's just no strength left in the man's body. Finlay does the best thing he can. He drops down to avoid it, but this is only putting more pressure on his arms, which of course are trapped in the setup for the deadbolt. Yuya, realizing he's not going to be able to fully get the deadbolt on, does a sort of double underhook toss. And Finlay, this does not lead to a pin, so Finlay's able to land some forearms, not at full strength, needless to say, and a pop-up power bomb, followed by a standing power bomb, and that does get a 2 count for him. He hits into oblivion, and that gets a very long 2 count. He's desperately trying to get the feeling back in his arms as he tries to sort of will his neck to reattach after the into oblivion. The crowd at this point, they're pro Finlay. They have made their decision, and this is why you can't have the Bullet Club as heels anymore, because at this point, like, Finlay's not trying to be a good guy in this match. No. He's just being himself, and the crowd has decided we like that. So he goes for Into Oblivion again, but Yuya gets a schoolboy roll up for 2 and a dragon suplex for another 2. He climbs the ropes, hits the high fly flow, but Finlay kicks out. There's a short clothesline from Finlay and gets trapped, locked in for the deadbolt, but he I believe what he did was he bit Yuya's ear as they were doing the setup. That's what it looked like he sort of
whispering sweet nothings. I don't know.
Maybe that's it. Like, he leaned right in, and he could have been just saying, you know, hey, want to get burgers after this? To me, I see a wrestler lean towards another guy's head like that, and I'm like, oh, he's biting his ear. I did not specifically see teeth, so
no,
who knows what happens between men in these situations. There's heavy looking chops from both men and an insecurity from Yuya. He sets up once again for the deadbolt, but Finlay responds with repeated headbutts to get free and hit the overkill for the win. 23 minutes and 1 second. Now afterwards, though, Finlay embracing the fact that he is, whether he wants to be or not, a babyface, sort of helps Yuya up, and he's giving him the sort of fraternal chest pat of approval.
Yeah, it's one of those, again, we love the sportsmanship, and it's as much as he's trying to be the bad guy, like, one of my favorite things, and this was always something I enjoyed when I would watch, for all my bitching and complaining about Jay White matches, I always loved it when he was the cocky heel, because he knew he was going to win, or he was just like being arrogant. So when Finlay propped himself up in the corner I was like, oh, this is the version that we're getting today. And that's the kind of heels I want in New Japan. I want the ones that be like, yes, I'm the best in the world. Yes, you're going to lose to me. Yes, I'm going to rub your face in it. So having that, again, having that kind of match, but also having that very soft afterwards, being like, great job. You did great. I think there's also that kind of, they've both in the last year had to drop out of a tournament due to injury. So I also think that there's that kind of mutual understanding with one another, because they both know that they've been through similar circumstances.
I think they're sort of moving the War Dogs to the point where they're these guys who are like, they're badasses. They'll do whatever it takes to win in the ring. But at this point, it's like they leave it in the ring. Like they're, that's the kind of fighters they are. And so, yeah, like Finlay was playing super cocky during this match, but the match is over and that gets dropped. So that can be a bit tricky because it can look inconsistent, but it can also just look like when you're fighting, you're 100% in the fight, and when the fight's over, it stops. And so that, like, they just need to sort of start filling out the characters like that, because that seems to be the direction that they're going in. Because there was as much as he was being kind of an arsehole, the crowd did not want to boo him here. No. And that's against Yuya, who is a pretty white meat baby face and sort of has been pushed as like possibly the next ace of the company.
Correct.
Certainly by people who thought he was going to win the G1, even though he's now eliminated.
But
not mentioning any names.
Catherine.
Me. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and also I've noticed it, especially during this tournament, that he's inheriting a lot of Tanahashi's moves. Like half the time I'm like, well, what's your Tanahashi match? Why am I hearing high fly flow this much? I shouldn't be hearing aces high. I shouldn't be hearing any of this. But I mean, again, if he's the one that inherits these moves and becomes, if that's his station in life, I'm here for it.
That's one of the big reasons I thought he was going to win. Like, I thought this was really being set up as a passing of the torch. Apparently not.
There is January 4th. Just saying. It is a possibility.
Indeed. But
I really like
we
this
shall
match.
see.
I really
yes, I did. I thought that this was good. I think that Finlay continues to show that he deserves to be one of the upper card guys. I think he's had a very good tournament, and I've including I was talking about this with Eric Marcotte earlier this week, making me enjoy an evil match, which
it's a big ask
for that to happen. Yeah, like that's like
it's a very big ask.
Yeah, dude deserves an award just for that. Like,
yes.
I don't make any secret of my feelings on House of Torture. So the fact that I didn't just tolerate it, I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, if Finlay doesn't win the G1 this year, he's definitely in the conversation for MVP of the G1 because he's had a great tournament and he's kept it fresh and entertaining. But
do you see him winning the G1? Because that was the one thing, like, as much as he's clearly been a project, it always comes down to me to who is putting butts in seats at the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that I see him going to the finals, but I don't know if unless they really want to drive home the winning both the New Japan Cup and the G1 in the same year story. I don't know. Like, I mean, I would love to see it, but I also don't know if they're going to do a double foreigner main event, which would mean that Zack would have to lose the belt before then. Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like, I see the Wrestle Kingdom main event being Zack Sabre Jr. versus David Finlay?
No, but I would love to see it at King of Pro Wrestling. If there needs to be a title change before the Dome, I wouldn't be mad at it. I think he's done enough work consistently, especially taking on this heel persona after a lot of other people left and he stayed behind.
But this is always the thing.
As I said, I have Takeshita picked as my winner, and I don't even know if that's going to happen. So
the thing with Finlay is, and it's the same with foreigners in general, but with Finlay in particular, his father works for the WWE, his brother works for the WWE, he has a young family in the United States, that you have to think that he could slot in there at any time. And
I feel like there's an offer.
I don't want that to happen, but
for him,
but I feel like the door is wide open whenever he wants to walk through it. So it's again one of the things, like, if they want to put their belt on him, they need to have an exit strategy. Like, to me, this year needs to be about elevating your new guys.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're doing that. I don't know if they're doing it fast enough for my liking, because again, you need to get Uemura to the point where he can headline the Tokyo Dome. You need to get Tsuji to that level.
Absolutely.
You need to be working on getting Oiwa to that level. Like, this should be the only thing you're focused on.
And the other thing and also if there is that potential time clock that they're running against with Finlay, they need to be preparing another foreigner to take this place, because he's carved out a spot for himself. That's going. It's going to, like many other people. Like, I'm not saying that he's leaving, because we know there's nothing. No.
I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that, like,
he's worked
it's the easiest
very hard for a very long time. And I mean, honestly, given that he has family ties to WWE, and he's based in the States, I feel like there's a standing offer for him when he's ready.
Yeah.
But since he's held the global championship, the only belt higher than that is the IWGP. So again, we've got less than 6 months to January at this point. So I mean, honestly, I thought he was out the door by Don Taco this year. So the fact that he's still here, I'm pleasantly surprised. But I wonder at what point they're going to have to. I don't want to see another year or two of them scrambling to fill in these spots within New Japan's future.
And I think Finlay fell victim to that a little bit, because they went through this for 2 years with Jay White, of thinking he was leaving, and then, but it's a little weird to me that they made as big a break with Jay White as they did, rather than leaving the door open for him to come back and do appearances.
Yeah.
Because it's not like that would have been a problem.
What's the same thing with Okada? Okada's never come back.
Yeah, like that's
Osprey's never come back.
But with Jay White to specifically have the clause that he was leaving, like that they can't, like Osprey and Okada, if they want to have them come back, they can come back. But with White, they sort of ruled him out. Yeah. But they had like 2 years of hemming and hawing before that, like, will he, won't he, and they built up no one. So then when they dropped Finlay in to be the replacement for him, it felt very sudden, and people were not warming to him in exactly the same way that they had felt that elevating Jay White was very sudden when Kenny Omega left. This is not a cycle that is going to help them, and is one that they should be trying to break. Yeah. So if they think that there is a halfway decent chance that Finlay leaves when his contract is up, presumably at the end of January, then they need to be thinking this through now.
That is absolutely correct.
To make the loss, to make a potential loss. Like, even if he decides to stay, that's great. But
they need to start elevating other people. Because you also run into the same problems with the injuries.
Yeah,
that throws a complete monkey wrench into the entire system. So hopefully, they've learned their lesson, as it were. Hopefully, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I could be spectacularly wrong. All right,
so what are we recommending from night 15?
The main event.
Yeah,
and if you're a glutton for punishment, start watching Tanahashi versus Evil and turn it off halfway through. For a feel-good time, Taichi versus Oleg.
Yeah, I would. Like I said, I think for both of these nights, this was we're getting into the slower portion. So I'd say if you wanted to watch something, check out the main event from both night 14 and 15. I don't know if I'd say anything else was necessary.
Yeah. And then, of course, after the match, there was a lot of math going on because we were preparing for the next two shows, of which on this coming Thursday, Kate will be back with everyone and with the unmatched, indomitable Bruce Lord. So I've just checked the match cards. New Japan has, at the time of recording, they have not updated it. So we're going to give you the what's on deck for the next couple of days. And then, probably by the time you hear this, they'll probably have announced everything. So for Wednesday's show, August 13th at Axe City in Hamamatsu, Shizuoka, it's going to be B Block, wrapping it up and filling in the spots for the 16th in the playoffs. The matches include Shingo Takagi versus Drilla Maloney, match of the year contender Yoshi-Hashi versus Zack Sabre Jr., Shota Umino versus the Great Okan, and Konosuke Takeshita versus Ren Narita. On Thursday at Korakuen Hall is when the playoff matches are going to start. When the playoff matches begin, they are going to be no time limit, and the winners of the matches on the 14th will advance to the semifinals at Ariake Arena on the 16th. The brackets for the playoff number 1, Yota Tsuji is representing A Block, and he will play. He will wrestle against the winner of, the third place contestant, not the third place winner, in B Block, which will be determined on Wednesday. And then the winner of that match will face Evil on the 16th. And for playoff block 2, David Finlay will represent A Block against the third place winner. Oh, that's not right.
No.
Tsuji's facing the second place, sorry. And then David Finlay is facing the third place winner. And they will, I keep saying winner, and they're going to face whoever is the first place B Block individual. And then, let's see, semifinals will be held on Saturday, August 16th, this coming Saturday, with the boss men themselves. John and we are getting the band back together. And then Saturday, I will be back with my partners in crime, Bruce Lord and WH Park, post wrestling's unholy trinity of professional
an all-star
Japanese
extravaganza.
A whiskey, ice cream, and ramen spectacular buffet of hot takes and probably a lot of swearing. But yeah, other than that, Kate, you got anything else?
That is everything. I have giving it my all.
I've tapped you out. Thank you so much for doing the play-by-play.
It is always. I love doing shows with you, and absolute pleasure. I made it through. I have now done play-by-play for 6 House of Torture matches. I'm a very special girl.
Yeah, I probably will try to get that in order for next year. And hopefully by then House of Torture will be gone, but I am not that lucky. So that being said, I'm Karen Peterson. My wonderful Kate from Montreal. We'll see you soon. Matane, bye-bye.
Bye.